ASL Prime League.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, the gold Protoss player, desRow. See how desRow opens up in the PvP manner. I keep hearing about a lot of Adept versus Adept in PvP, but honestly, I've not seen that much of it. I haven't seen that much PvP in Legacy of the Void when it's not been my level, which is kind of like Masters-ish, low there. Diamond-ish Master PvP. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Double assimilator from both players. Pretty reminiscent of Heart of the Swarm. I'd love to see a Stargate opening, but generally in PvP what I've seen is players kind of covering all their bases. They get Stargate, they get a Forge, they get a Robo facility. And they are able to utilize that because of the quick natural and third bases, so it is pretty cool, but PvP is slightly less coin flippy, still is very coin flippy though, depending on how you play it out. Both players, I think, are going for a second gateway. Yeah, both players are playing it very safe. Looks like Astrea is going to take its natural base. While we have a... Oh, no, we won't. Just getting that 5 minerals, which I don't actually like. If you don't get that original 5 minerals, you can go over to your opponent's side of the map and kind of harass the mineral lines, canceling workers that are trying to mine them, but that is kind of next-level Korean crap. desRow, though, will be going for the much quicker scout. Astrea was checking for a natural, or sorry, Astrea was checking for proxies somewhere on the map. But desRow here will get the full scout in the main, and both players are doing Stalker. I actually like Adepts are good. You do have the Adept upgrade, but the Stalkers become so much more versatile in the early to mid game with Blink, with the upgrades, and you can just do a lot more with them. They're also a little bit more, yeah, you got to feel for them as a Protoss player. You kind of understand how they work. You understand what you want to do. Sometimes not so much as Adepts. But we're pretty far into Legacy of the Void at the moment, so I'm sure they have a nice handle. desRow will scout finally for proxies. No proxies, though, will he see. The probe in the top right, though. Oh, actually, the probe of desRow will get focused down. The probe in the top right for Astrea will not, even though desRow looks for it. And Twilight Council now is coming out of Astrea. Well, looks like it's going to be a natural for desRow. He should, yeah, he will be able to defend this. He's got a Mothership Core. He's got the defender's advantage at this point, but desRow is just trying to kill that probe. Does get the probe. So neither player will be able to at least do any proxies for now, as far as both players know. But now this natural base, it's not really at jeopardy, quite honestly. The Stalkers of desRow will get there in time, but ooh, this one Stalker of desRow has to be very careful not to lose it to these two Stalkers. Oh, that's actually going to be pretty big if he gets it. No, he barely does not get it. 12 health left. If Astrea had a pylon on this side of the map, something like that, he may have been able to push through that if that first Stalker went down that he found, but was not the case. You see Robotech from desRow, Twilight from Astrea, and there's the Robo for Astrea. So desRow is just going to be a little bit more heavy macro, but I don't know if it's going to matter that much. The Blink, though, of Astrea is, I mean, it's infinitely ahead because there's still no Twilight Council for desRow. It's going to be done in about 60 seconds, but oh, Astrea does not want to lose his early Stalker count here. All his gas, or at least the majority of his gas, has gone into the Twilight Councils, and now into two... Actually, no, that wasn't him. We saw desRow go into 3 sentries, so just playing it safe, but now desRow's got these 3 Stalkers on the run, maybe able to pick up a kill here, but he's not actually going to commit to this attack. There are no pylons on this side of the map for desRow. And he doesn't even try to go for the kill. He doesn't even try to kill something. He'll just pull out, say, cool, pushed you all the way back, no aggression, I'm safe. Is the Robo done? Neither player's actually got a scout into the opponent's truly main base, or at least seen their tech path yet. They see pretty much what they'd expect to see. Both have 3 gates, but not more than that. Actually, both have 2 gates, technically. Blink is done. Astrea is moving out. But I mean, desRow, I feel like he's got just the perfect home base advantage. He's got a slightly better economy than Astrea at this point, and he's got an Immortal popping out, the Mothership Core. There's no pylons out for Astrea on this side of the map. Actually, there is just above. He will be able to warp in from, but no gateway, nothing like that. I feel like this goes to desRow as long as he's careful. We'll see how it plays out, though. Force Field's honestly not really even worth it. Yeah, I'd rather just do Guardian Shield at this point because of the blink, but it does force the blink with those Force Fields at least. So that may help him. Finally, the Immortal's a part of the army. I'd like to see another Guardian Shield go up for desRow here. Doesn't quite have it, though. That does negate 2 attack from these Stalkers, putting them down to only, I guess, technically 12 damage to the Stalkers. But still, it just helps a little bit when it's Stalker count on Stalker count. At the moment, 11 Stalkers of Astrea, the 6 of desRow, but he does have the Immortal and he has the Mothership Core if he wishes to foot an overcharge. He's still not footed an overcharge yet and is being very careful. This looks like a pretty heavy commitment to Stalkers at the moment for Astrea. There's no Robo, no War Prism, no nothing coming out of the back of this. He is making probes, though. We'll see if he can get the kills. He's actually focusing down one of the sentries. This may not be the best idea, but doesn't lose much because of the great blink play. The great blink play from Astrea here. Wait one second. He's getting called on Skype. For now, though, Pinhead. For now, though, desRow will be defending. I think I was saying this earlier, but I really wish Barrier was manually casted because there's. I don't care what your reason is. You can cast it so much easier and really have cool play against the Blink Stalkers well enough to defend it. For now, though, desRow's kind of stuck back onto his. Well, he will be kind of pressuring out. He's being very careful about it. But, I mean, off the back of this, Astrea could take a third base, something like that. For now, though, the Immortals will be doing a decent amount of damage. I think Astrea will push through this, actually. Sadly, desRow is still doing pretty well for himself, but I don't think there's actually that much out on the map. 2 more gates were added on for desRow. Maybe a little too late, though, with that blink. Finally, not only blink, but Astrea does have his Observer out and is able to keep pushing. Here, no third base, no nothing. Just continual push into this aggression. Finally, desRow does have +1 attack, though. He should be able to negate this from Astrea here, but it's getting a little dicey. We'll see. Trying to focus down those Adepts, which literally do nothing, because they can take the entire Stalker volley and not die. Nice blinks back, and looks like desRow will be able to break out of his cocoon for now and secure a third base while his opponent, Astrea, is... Oh, will he do it? Will he take the third base? Not sure quite yet. Focuses down that pylon, and Astrea actually does get that probe right there, and will cancel the third base, which is actually nice for him. His third base, respectively, will be going down. And if the Mothership Core get into this... Oh! Man. Purification Novas go into the army of desRow, and Purification Novas do friendly fire, so... Hey, that's just not where you want to be, man. It's not where you want to be. For now, though, really, I mean, desRow, he's kind of got up to the tech path he wants to be, but he's got to secure this third base to really be able to make anything happen. And I don't know if this is 100% worth it for Astrea, but he's definitely doing damage. It's kind of indirect damage, though, delaying the third base and really forcing out a lot of units from desRow where he may not like that. desRow may be a little more comfortable in the macro sense, but he also is quite good with that aggression. 4 Adepts headed out across the map. Is that 4, actually? Yeah, that's 4 Adepts. 4 Adepts headed across the map will be intercepted by these Stalkers and 2 Sentries. They could very well just force field this in. Adepts will focus down those Sentries, which is pretty big. Sentries didn't have that much gas on the energy on them, and just, they were like, force field it. Screw it. We need to use our force field to really be able to do well. Templar Archives is down for Astrea. Some more High Templars coming out, and I'm guessing he's going to go into Archon Zealot. There's Charge on the way, which is pretty potent. We'll have to see how that works, though, because desRow is moving out across the map, and he's got 2 Disruptors. Oh, the Disruptors have to be careful. Potentially Astrea can snipe them, really, if you wanted to. And actually, the rocks will go down. Astrea buying himself a little bit more time. The rocks down on the ground. desRow will focus it down because he's going for the kill here, but there's no Warp Prism, no nothing to actually reinforce his army with. Charge is about 5-10 seconds away for Astrea here. But there's not that many Zealots. There's still no Zealots actually at all. No! The Disruptor hits actually aren't that big. Not doing that much, honestly, to Protoss. Bio, yes, but for now, desRow's like, ah, crap. Disruptor is maybe not the best idea, but it does force your opponent to part and micro a lot of their units. Even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, if you're even, it definitely will even up the score here. desRow keeping some nice map control, while finally, Astrea is getting in. He's actually just warping at his adepts. I don't know what he's doing. These Stalkers looking to attack a fourth base, but still a fourth base from desRow. He's committing a lot to this attack. At the moment, both players are at +1, but desRow is at 1-1. Respectively, though, Astrea has Blink and Charge instead of that +1 attack. So I think it's a little more versatile. You can do a lot of more cool things with that. For now, though, looks like a Warp Prison on the top of the map will be loading up, and I think the main is going to defend it that well. That will be Adepts, not Zealots, so it's not going to be a quick Zealot charge or whatever. After the nerf, Zealots are still good, but man, Zealots were great with 30 damage on impact. You don't even understand. This may force the army of Astrea out of position if he's not careful about it, but actually at the same time, Stalkers of Astrea get by all of that and are hitting the third base of desRow. Still, these Adepts are trying to kill that pylon as quick as they can, and they just barely cancel it, which not only cancels the row, but cancels 3 gates while it's going on. Still, Stalkers in the third base of desRow actually pull back the entire army. I'd love to see Astrea kind of utilize this, push forward across the map, but it's really just annoying. 7 kills, 4 Stalkers get 7 kills. That's fantastic. Astrea, though, just holding his position and getting Archons up, getting everything. And now I guess desRow's moving out across the map again, and I think he really wants to make something. He needed to make something happen with these Disruptors. He's committed a lot to it, which... sorry. He's committed a lot to it, which I like, but he could have committed those into other upgrades or just a lot of different things. Those Adepts will finally be cleaned up with the double Photon Overcharge, but it didn't really force Astrea out of position that much. By the way, Astrea's army currently is 21 Adepts. Adepts, I just like that there's a new core unit added to Protoss army, and it truly can be utilized as a core unit quite well. Astrea, though, is still trying to make, is still kind of hanging out between his natural and his third base. It looks like desRow, all game, he's kind of been hanging out really close to his opponent, and I really like that, but remember, he does not have Blink. Or actually, no, now he does have Blink. Take that back. And now he's actually getting Adept Shields, but I don't know. Actually, that's Astrea here getting Adept Shields. All the Disruptors went off trying to use their ability, but it won't quite happen, and oh! I guess Disruptors slaughter Adepts. That's the key here. May not get Stalkers, may not get Immortals or Archons, but Adepts will be destroyed. For now, Astrea is on a little bit of a loss here. He lost, like, I couldn't even tell you how many, but 5 or 6 Adepts to 1 Disruptor. But 1 Disruptor was killed. We'll see how it pays off in the end. The fourth base of Astrea is being taken. desRow's looking like he may try to cancel that, attack the back, but respectively for desRow himself also, you just saw his fourth base. This is kind of going back and forth. If we see the micro of the Adepts, definitely Astrea's got a chance, but still both players, it's really coming down to the micro here, down to the blinks, down to whatever they can really muster. But the one sad thing about this back of the third base, actually Astrea will know about it, but desRow can hit the back of that fourth base without Astrea being able to defend, but it's not going to be the case for now. desRow looking for an angle, won't quite see it, and there's 2 Disruptors moving in. Wow. 2 more Disruptor hits do go off. They do trigger the the barriers. And actually triggering 2 more barriers on the Immortals, it's really key here. They not only bring down the Immortals to only a quarter health, but do trigger off the barriers. Just waiting for 2 more Disruptor hits from desRow, buying himself a little time. He's lost a lot of the Archons out the front. See how that pays off. There's the Disruptor moving in again and just slaughtering so much. desRow does have the home field advantage only because his pylons are a lot closer, being able to warp in, but still, it's going both ways. The Immortal's doing so much damage, even though the Disruptor has really hit him hard. Still a push back from that, and desRow now just push back into his natural base, transferring probes, I presume up to maybe his 4th. And overall, Astrea's third base has been up for a little bit longer, but not actually had the drones there. Finally taking the gold base. Now for desRow, I mean, Astrea knows about this top right-hand base, but I think he may just be waiting because that Immortal composition is just so potent. Even versus the Disruptor, or even versus those, even versus everything right there, there's not quite enough to kill it. Gases are being saturated, hopefully, in the top right-hand base soon to start bolstering desRow's economy. At the moment, we see shield upgrades come down for desRow to help his Archons, but doesn't actually have any Archons in the force. The big key factor here is now desRow has moved from his Archons, moved from his Disruptors into the Adepts, but Astrea has Adept upgrades, or Adept shields, actually, that will put them at 140 shields, 90 health, to the only 90 health, 90 shields of desRow. So I guess like a third more, maybe a little more, not 100% sure there. But for now, desRow's staying aggressive as he likes, and honestly, Astrea's been very defensive, hasn't been super aggressive past the early game, and it's worked out well for him. He's used his Robo Bays, double Robo Bay, and actually triple Robo Bay economy production soon to really utilize that well. And I'd love to see desRow send all his shades out in like one direction towards the third, whatever, and psych Astrea out, but looks like it's going to be pretty close to it. Disruptors could decimate desRow's force if there were any a part of Astrea, but that won't be the case. For now, Astrea is in a little bit of a dicey situation. Adept versus Immortal, it's just, I don't know how well that works. And there's the first Disruptor going off. Look at the hit. No, there's only 3 left. The second one, there's a third one. And they do get decent hits, triggering off two Immortals, but still a lot of the other Immortals are pretty half health. And oh, beautiful Disruptor does go down, but now the Disruptors have to get out of there. Adept's not doing shade, not doing nothing to fake out the Astrea's armor, but now finally a Disruptor is there for Astrea, and will it go off? Maybe gets one Adept right there. But fourth base was killed. Another, or a different fourth base was just taken for Astrea in the bottom left-hand corner, but now I think desRow is just an advantage here. He's pushing really well, pushing quite hard. We'll pull back though. He's at 3-1-1, not something you normally quite hear. While Astrea is just at 3-0. Is recovering his shields upgrades, which with the Adepts, it's like not only do Archons benefit a lot from the shield upgrades traditionally in Heart of the Storm, Legacy of the Void, but now the Adepts do. You see a little bit of a Stalker push, but the Archons will quite easily just pretty much refute it, say nope, you can't actually do stalker attacks versus me in the late game. This is a late game, guys, but other players really went into that tech. I feel like PvP is very much early game into the mid game. The late game is kind of the early game, but at mass. So it's pretty much small Adept into like Stalker, Mortal Archon, or Disruptor, and then you move back into mass Adept because they're just so tanky, good units, and they can really be mixed into gateway compositions easily. Oh, Stalkers with Astrea are still trying to pull desRow apart, trying to do as much as he can to do it. Still, though, Astrea is trying to get that damage down. They're really just trying to pull desRow apart, but he has not managed to do that. Each time desRow re-throws his probes into whatever direction he can. Or, sorry, re-puts his probes back into economy and really keeps his economy up quite well. desRow's been on economy a little bit longer than Larry here. At the moment, Pinhead Larry to the Disruptors has lost 17,000 minerals to the only 12,000 minerals of desRow, so just a little, the Adepts do die much quicker to the Disruptors, but it's still kind of a dicey situation. One Disruptor at desRow's fifth base, will maybe be able to defend, and actually, that's kind of funny. Astrea sends in the first disruption of Purification Nova to check if something's there, and says, oh, nothing's there, let's just focus it down, and both players taking big clumps out of their opponent's flesh, and we'll get some decent damage on it. Oh! Big hits go off, do sacrifice one Archon to the Disruptors. There is the Warp Prism of desRow, could possibly do some fancy micro with the Disruptors. I don't know if Disruptors going into Warp Prisms cancel their Purification Nova yet. We'll have to see. Astrea pulling back again, just killing what he can, pulling back, surgically doing it the best he can. But yeah, we'll have to see. desRow is, I mean, both players have really been close to finishing the game, but neither one has really wanted to engage. We're going to have to see now. There is the Warp Prism finally with desRow's force. It's kind of going to do some counterattacks here. Purification Novas do not go off, sadly, and desRow's still doing pretty well for himself. In the bottom left hand, there is the Adept Run By. Kind of funny, you don't really hear that much. Not an Adept drop, an Adept Run By, and more Adepts, and actually DTs are following them up. You look at the DTs to hit when the Adepts hit, just so it's kind of confusing if your opponent's not paying enough attention, that they don't quite realize DTs are there. But for now, still focusing it down. desRow will be going for another surgical removal. He'll take out the fourth and the fifth base at the same time, I think. Astrea was not in the right position to defend it, but now he is actually in the right position. desRow saying, you know what, you're going back into your third, you're going to be out of position, might as well try to focus the base down while I can. So many Disruptors, 6 Disruptors, 7 Disruptors with the main force of desRow here. Actually, sorry, 6 again. Bottom left-hand base taken out by DTs. I'd love to see DTs mix up with the main army of desRow. And oh man, those Purification Novas, so many going off, but they all are flukes. They don't quite make it out, but still trying to do it. The counterattacks for both players have been phenomenal, but desRow has killed just a few more workers so far. 31 workers and 26 workers killed, both going back and forth, but I think that the earlier Disruptor composition of desRow did really pay off in the early game, allowing him to take slight leads here and there with Adepts, with whatever, but both players have phenomenal banks at the moment. 2,000 minerals, almost 700 gas, kind of averaged out between the pieces of them. between the two of them. But now the biggest thing is desRow is on 5 bases. Astrea is on 3. desRow is looking to make that final attack, and Astrea is trying to kind of pull desRow apart. There's a Zealot warping on the top right-hand side, and he's trying to just pull desRow apart, but I don't think it's it. desRow's looking for one of those final attacks, and oh, huge Disruptor hits do go off, and there's a depths, and I think that's honestly it. Even though it's Mass Disruptor and Mass Disruptor, I feel like desRow's this right here with the DTs. Their Observer is there finally to clean up those DTs, but now it's got to be really careful. You don't want to engage in, oh, it's such a crazy choke point. Remember, there is Blink, but the Disruptors of desRow slaughter the Disruptors of Astrea here, and are not really pushing forward. There's so many adepts. Wow. It's kind of getting hard. 33 adepts right now, and GG desRow takes game 1. Left-hand side of the map, as I mentioned earlier, it is desRow. See what happens in this game. Game 1 is going a really long time, both players being really cautious. Not wanting to move in, being very hesitant. We'll see how that changes in Game 2, whether desRow can take a 2-0 victory, or it'll go to 2-1. Hopefully, 2-0. Because I gotta go cast it, but for now, early scout by desRow. There's a lot of proxy possibilities on this map, and maybe he'll try to do that. I don't think it's wise, though. Astrea already will be scouting that with you can see on the right side. But Astrea for now, actually it's going to go for a quick natural base. There's the natural base right there for desRow taking, for Astrea taking it, kind of doing it a lot differently than we've traditionally seen. desRow scouts this. Let's see if we'll properly punish it. And I honestly don't know how you punish it. Units will punish it, but it's still kind of what exactly is the proper reaction as a Protoss player and legacy of to your opponent doing this. And it's not like there's a compensation natural. I think you can get away with it. I think the Astrea get away with it. We'll have to see. desRow obviously doesn't believe so himself. That proxy is going down, and desRow has got the 2 gates up, maybe going. I don't think the Adept Mothership Core would be wise. We'll see, though, what he does. There's the Mothership Core started. It was a little bit supply blocked. Skype now says my internet's beautiful. My internet out now. I will assume my internet's now. That's not the answer. I feel like it's a very simple answer. But now, desRow will do a proxy start. 2 Stargates was that one? No, proxy Stargate gate. So this is going to be a 3-gate Stargate push into quick natural from our lovely Protoss player here, Astrea. There's the Mothership Core for Astrea, and right now there's one probe out for Astrea. Will he scout the attack? No, he will not scout it. It's a little bit of an position. It's honestly a position you just never pass unless you're going to the bottom, like right-hand base in a really weird fashion. For now, though, desRow is trying to pick off any probes, anything that may scout this attack coming along the map, and he's going for the kill. He wants to make this game go quickly, hopefully. Gateway's down for desRow, and hopefully it'll be turned into a gate now. Not only will this be a hidden gate, but it'll be a much quicker warp in. There's the Oracle started. We'll be able to hit that natural base with 8 workers on it, and there's no pylon natural base at the moment for Astrea here, so let's see how that goes off. There's no filtered overcharge possibilities, but desRow trying to kill off whatever he can. And, will he get a Stalker? It looks like he barely will not get a Stalker here. He's got to pull back and be very careful not to push it with it. He's lost a lot of health on these depths. And that 1 sentry gets a kill, but not before, or dies, but not before he gets a kill. Oracle will move in, and there's the Photon Overcharge, gets off 2, might get a couple more, and it will deny that mining at least. There's no pylon, and basically, this natural base is just a liability at the moment for our player. We do have the possibility of a Stasis Ward, or at least taking a lot of the damage of Astrea here with the main army, but now, simply desRow is getting up a nice aggression force into the main base of Astrea, or at least to start hitting that wall. Let's see if we can pull that off. Out on the map for desRow, there is 5 Stalkers, 3 Adepts, 2 Oracles to the 3 Stalkers, and 1 Adept of Astrea, but still desperately, Astrea is trying to utilize this natural base to get the something can do off that, but desRow is getting a lot of kills here and there. So far, he has got 10 kills, Not stifling the economy. Still got to be very careful. Oh, it does lose one Oracle. Second Oracle is on the way to help the second Oracle kind of moment. Actually, he lost 2 Oracles right there. Not sure how that happened. Or no, he didn't lose 2 Oracles. My bad. I can't do math. desRow kind of debating where he wants to engage. Looks like he's going to go for the back rocks. I think that's a fine idea. You know, just whatever you want. Can't quite go up the main ramp because it is 100% walled off. Thankfully, though, Astrea will have a probe for himself there. Sorry, a pylon for himself. They're ready to overcharge, but again, the Oracle's going to try to get some more kills down. There's no blink, no nothing, so this Oracle may barely get away. Does not quite have enough pulsar beam left to hit the natural base, though, and for now, desRow is working as hard as he can on these back rocks at the same time. He does have 2 Oracles and will be moving in and out of the natural and the main base as much as he can to get damage done. Both players are about even, but let's see how the Adepts work versus Stalkers. 2 Adepts are sadly stuck in the inside of the base, but there's only 1 sentry. There's only 1 force field at the moment. Still, a lot of workers are being killed. 12 workers so far, and oh man, double pulsar beam in the main. Be able to annihilate stuff. 5 workers dead. 1 Oracle will go down. Second Oracle gets away, but still, desRow has kind of stopped making workers with his aggression. Still, he's trying to make it happen. At the moment, there are only 2 workers apart. desRow down by 2. Now actually down by 4. But he's still trying to put on the aggression, still trying to do it. The natural base of Astrea has never been fully utilized, nor has the main base. But, dang, the Adepts, man. This is going to force 2 Adepts at home, or maybe Adepts and a Stalker at least, to be made by desRow. And there, desRow actually does finally run into the main base. He's got to be so careful with that Photon Overcharge. It does so much damage, it is easily killed, though. Oh, dang it, desRow will... Sorry. Oh. Come on, man, he could have got a couple of kills. Won't be the case, though. desRow gets the first shots off. Kill these. desRow is not giving on this aggression, trying as hard as he can to kill whatever he can. There's so much now for Pinhead, though. Or, sorry, for not Pinhead. For us here, I don't think desRow can actually realistically break this. Push forward. He will take out that sentry. Stalker's still left. Astrea takes up 1.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.